Hey, what is up everyone? Forever Lego Studios here, back here with another video. And guys, today in our video, we kind of have a little mock to showcase. So for those of you who don't know, this past weekend I've been at my friend Aiden and Drake's house in Indiana. And we kind of just spent the weekend hanging out and going to like some really cool places, including like a bunch of different geeky stores or comic book stores, stuff like that. But if you remember last year around this same time, Aiden and I did another mock. We did a kind of a small Solus mock, and that was really fun. We wanted to continue that series, I guess you could say, where each year we kind of build something new. Again, last year we did Solus, and then this year is kind of more of a snowy planet. We couldn't really figure out which planet we wanted to go for, just because of the fact that there's Hoth, there's Renvar, there's Star Killer, and stuff like that. And so we're trying to. Right now, it's kind of just a no-name snow planet, and honestly, it came out really nice. Well, like, Aiden, what do you think?
It actually looks. I think so far, between the two mocks we've done, I think this was my favorite.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. This is probably the main problem we had with what was it, Solus?
Yeah.
That our main problem was like the detail wasn't completely there. Now, I do want to point out real quick that like there's still not like there's some things we could totally fix, especially with the side snow drifts and stuff like that. Now this all came from Aiden's collection. Now by Aiden's collection I mean by like it's just a bunch of random parts, bunch of broken down sets. So that's kind of what we had to go through. I was supposed to bring a bunch of parts, and actually we were originally supposed to do a Clone Wars mock, and I was supposed to bring the gunship. I was supposed to bring some clothes. In general, we were supposed to be a bit more prepared, but I ended up forgetting, and so we just ended up deciding to go with what he had on hand, which is actually, honestly, this came out really cool. Like, we were trying to figure out something to implement a ship, and we went with the Resistance troop transporter. As you can see, we kind of did some updating to it to kind of give it a more nicer look, especially with the hatch open. So you got like this like little overhang right there, and then on top of that you have the actual ramp, which is pretty much all redid just because of the fact that we wanted to make it look nice and not like the actual set, to give it that nice ramp, including the little details right there covering up the extra space. But honestly, this thing came out really nice. Now, as you can see, there in this mock, you've got the stormtroopers, and then you got some resistance troopers. Now, of course, we were originally going for the First Order troopers, but Aiden and I
we couldn't find them. Like, they're somewhere, but we should know where they are.
What's really sad is Aiden still has the box from this, so yeah. He does have the most recent First Order battle pack, which kind of stinks because of the fact that we were like, okay, we have the figures on hand, this is plenty, because as you can see, we only have 5 Imperial troopers on here, and the Resistance we didn't really mind because of the fact that we were like, okay, these guys, this is just like a small little tag team of rebels or resistance kind of running into the ship, because that's basically what they are. This is kind of like an Imperial planet, and they're kind of just like running into the ship, kind of getting away from them. So the resistance / rebellion wasn't a big deal. The First Order ones, we were like, okay, we got to have a decent amount of troops because of the fact that, you know, we got to show these figures kind of just, you know, showcasing that this is their planet and they're trying to outrun the rebels. So we went through that stage and we're like, okay, we can't find anything. And we thought about going to Walmart and Target, finding any sets with First Order troopers, but they didn't have any.
I know, yeah, like there's more Marvel sets than were any Star Wars.
Yeah, we went to Walmart and Target, and like both stores were like completely bare of sets, which was really depressing.
But there's just more Marvel movies coming out right now.
Yeah. That's probably going to change in like the next couple of months with Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. But since we didn't have the First Order troops on hand that we could find, we ended up deciding, let's just go with the Stormtroopers. Now, we are using the Star Wars Rebel Stormtroopers. That's the only ones he had on hand, which is actually perfectly fine. Like, really, if you take it out, back glance, I kind of just noticed that Stormtroopers. Technically, yeah, you can be very nitpicky and say this is there's a cartoon version of the Stormtrooper, and these are just regular rebels from the movies. Which is, yeah, you can be real nitpicky, but honestly, it's not that big a deal. Again, this is all coming from just a random collection. We didn't buy anything, we didn't purchase or collect anything. This is literally just coming from his collection of random parts and figures. So honestly, I think it was perfectly fine, and honestly, this thing came out really nicely. As you can see right now, the road this was like the first thing we built was the road kind of leading up to the troop transporter. The idea of this mock is kind of just signifying, like I mentioned, the stormtroopers are kind of trying to outflank the rebels or resistance. And the resistance are trying to get aboard the ship, trying to escape. And the troop transport, as you can see, it's at an angle, so it's kind of what at the moment the ship is like kind of flying in, scraping against the I guess road. And I was running out of words. That's why you can see kind of around it, you can see some rocks coming up. And so the idea is kind of just like a quick pickup, so the ship's dropping down, these guys got to run inside, and then it's going to fly off. And so that's why you've got a few running. This guy is kind of forward backwards because he's kind of got shot. Same with the stormtrooper. And it's kind of just a evacuation type of mock, which actually looks really nice. But with the road, you've got, we wanted to make sure that the road wasn't completely straight. So we kind of did it at a angle. So it's kind of curved, I guess, going this way. So it's not going completely straight. It's kind of going towards the left, which is actually really nice. And honestly, the road came out really nice with what parts we had. The idea was like to give it a rough road feel, so it's not like a brand spanking new road. And honestly, it actually looks really nice, especially with the the resistance transport kind of just sitting there, getting ready to pick up the troops. Now for the snow, what do you think? What do you think of the snow and the rocks kind of mixed in?
I think maybe we could have done a little bit more rock.
Yeah. Our main issue with figuring out stuff, like we had plenty of filler to deal with, and so that was kind of one of our ideas. We could have just like raised this to the actual height. We kind of wanted to do something like different with the actual snow because of the fact that we didn't buy any snow plates. We didn't have anything like that, so we kind of, as you can see, like the large white plates are kind of on the sides, giving it that like curved downward feel or slanted. And so we realized, okay, we don't have the plates to actually make it completely level. So we decided to go with like these plates. I just bumped the thing. And we went with these plates kind of slanted downward, going throughout the whole thing to give it that signifies of like the road's elevated and then the snow kind of drifts downward and then you've got the main area of the snow. And so we kind of did a mixture between like tiles and plates and kind of stuff like that to give it that like, I guess, nice transition of snow. And then on near the borders you got these like slopes right there, and it's on the same on that side and on the same on that side. Honestly, I really like the kind of snow drifts kind of starting from here and going up towards the road. Comes out really nice. Again, this side's pretty much the same on this side, kind of extra snow. This is kind of my least favorite thing because we couldn't figure out or find a different plate that we could use, but honestly that's not that big a deal. This side is kind of not like the nicest looking side. This side, like if you're looking from this side, it looks really nice. Next we have kind of a shed or a rundown house type of deal. How do you think this came out?
There are some things I would probably change about it, but I actually really do like it.
Yeah. Honestly, I really wish I brought my masonry bricks because like at some points like this side has a decent amount of masonry bricks and then the rest are kind of like they're kind of just scattered. Now the idea of this was, like I said, it's kind of like a olden house or broken down shed. That's why like there's holes in the walls, there's holes in the roofs, kind of cracks, nooks and crannies and stuff like that, and things just sticking out, and then of course snow on top of the roof. And it's just kind of give you that signifies it's a rundown house or shed. And honestly, it came out really nice. Like I love the cracks, and this is actually the first time I've ever done something like this, as well as with Aiden. So honestly, the shed for what it is actually came out really nice. The door, I really like this entrance. This was like the first thing we did for the shed, and honestly, it came out really nice because you've got that like kind of circular door. It's kind of open. It's always open because of the fact that there is no door. And honestly, that came out really nice. You've got two of those parts just kind of just sat there and then on top. So this is actually not placed. It's kind of just like sat there. And honestly, that came out really nice, and I actually really like that door. You kind of have a small little window. As you can see, there's like a plate that fell, and that wasn't on purpose. That just got stuck, and so We kind of signify as like snow maybe piling up in there. Um, as you can also see, we did do a black border all throughout the mock, except during the road. Um, as you can see, you've got this black border, and then when you hit the road, it's got like dark gray, which actually looks like a nice transition. Honestly, the black border came out really nicely, especially since we didn't know when we were trying to figure out what we wanted to build. It was kind of, we went through a few stages, and we agreed that black bordering it would make it a lot nicer, because that was our main problem with one of our problems we had with the Celis mock is the border kind of looked, didn't look that bad, greatest. But honestly, this thing actually came out really nice. I really like the kind of slanted or dropping in transporter, kind of just coming in and landing on the road and kind of making it a little rough. Like I said, we added some tiles and stuff like that, kind of signifying like the ramp scraping up some of the gravel and road. And it's just, you got the rebels trying to run away from the Empire. I guess for the theme, this would probably go between episode 6 or 6 and 7, kind of signifying like early stages of the Resistance and kind of finishing off the Empire. And I know it doesn't make the 100% most logical sense, but you know, again, this is all coming from like, this came on, how long did we take?
I think it took us longer than our last one. Like our last one took like
A couple hours.
It took a couple hours. I would say like with trying to find pieces, it took us maybe 2 days.
I think finding all the parts and then officially building it and planning it out, it took about a day.
The
or a
hardest
couple
part
days.
was planning it and actually finding the pieces.
Yeah, because we went through a few phases. Like we really wanted to use the troop transporter because it just looked really nice on a base plate. We went through a couple Resistance ideas. I think another idea was like an episode 3 one, but we ended up scrapping that. But overall, this thing came out really nice. Again, this is kind of my favorite angle. It's kind of you've got that nice showing of the ship landing, or at least making a quick rescue. And then you got the ramp right there, or updated ramp. You have the snow piled up, where this kind of looks a lot nicer. You have that. I honestly, I actually really like how the road came out. Again, we went for a kind of broken down old road, not like a fancy new one, like you can see on Coruscant or Naboo or something like that. Then the shack actually came out pretty nicely. Overall, I think this came out really well. Again, we only spent I'm gonna say 2 days total, because of the fact that it was just a long period between actually getting to it and planning and finishing and sorting and stuff like that. So I'm gonna say roughly 2 days. And honestly, this thing came out really nicely, especially.
What would be your favorite and least favorite part about this?
Favorite part is like finishing up, just because of the fact that it gives that really nice look. Like even from this corner right there, it actually gives a really cool look. Least favorite part was kind of going through all the parts and trying to figure out this like snow pattern, trying to make sure that the snow was actually slanted. We had to find all big plates to use. So that was probably my least favorite, as well as not being able to find the First Order troops.
Oh, yeah.
What was your least favorite part?
That's kind of hard. I'll probably say also not finding that First Order troop.
Yeah, that was just like disappointing, because we were like, man, we're gonna use First Order troops, and then we decided. Then we ended up not finding them. It was just like, okay, we can't do nothing about this.
I would say my favorite part would also be actually seeing it when it's done.
Yeah, this thing came out really nice. Again, I know it's not gonna be anything like fantastic or I guess like highly detailed like other large mocks or other smaller ones. Again, this was kind of just going through like a random collection and basically filling what we can. And honestly, this thing came out really nice. Next year, again, this is kind of, we try to do this like yearly, just because of the fact that Aiden and I, since we're good friends, we try to do our best to stay in touch and visit as much as we can. And so next year we're going to do the same thing, but we're probably going to be doing we'll of course do another mock, because this is something really fun we do each year. And next year I think we're going to be doing a larger one. How big did you say you wanted to do next year?
I would probably say maybe, I don't know, I think probably next year I'll probably maybe buy 2 or 3 more base plates.
Oh, by the way, yes, this is one base plate,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
as you guys have probably already realized that. Honestly, if you do pick up 3 base plates, that would actually be pretty cool. We have a few ideas on what to do. If you guys have any ideas of the next mock Aiden and I should do, as again a small
We're
little
not done.
collaboration he and I did, let us know in the comment section below, and as well as let us know what you guys think of this kind of just small quick mock that Aiden and I put together. Again, this is way, in my opinion, and I think Aiden, you agree that it's
Yeah,
better than the Solus
yeah,
mock.
yeah, definitely.
This honestly came out really nicely, and I'm excited to see what you guys think of the actual thing, just because of the fact that it's going to be kind of different, because I know this past week we didn't have a Kamino episode. I wanted to do something with Lego, and Aiden and I both really wanted to do or build something. So hopefully you guys enjoy this quick video and enjoy this small mock Aiden and I threw together.
Yeah.
If you enjoy, definitely smash that like button, as well as if you're new to this channel, definitely subscribe. We got some awesome content coming down, including continuing on the Battle of Kamino series. So let us know in the comment section what you think of today's video, and I will see you guys, or we will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.